Okay, so we have done Poppy, Princess Poppy. Now I'm going to show you how I did Blanche. Same situation, I went into Google and I typed in Blanch Trolls clip art. I looked to see if I could find one like this one. He has an excellent one because you can see it says 1000 to 1302. Believe that will be pixels if I'm not mistaken. So that is a really good quality one. So all I did was, and it's got a transparent background. So if you can see these little dots here, that means this is a transparent background, which means that you can use this type of image for your invitations or for anything pretty much. So that's a great one because it doesn't have a background. So all I would do then is right click, save that, and I would use that image. I would go into our Silhouette Cameo. I would download your clip art into your troll section. So all you do is you find your image under wherever you saved it, and then you pretty much just drag it, and you drag it into where it says your folder name. Okay, so we're going to do Blanche, and I think, yep, there he is there. Okay, so you would probably still have an A4. Just make sure that your paper size, so you go to here, and that's your design page settings, and you make sure that you got it set, your paper set as A4. Obviously, if you have a bigger printer, you can just scroll down and you can go down to whatever size. So I have an A3 size, but in this particular situation I will do an A4 size. So all we're going to do is we're going to take our image and we're going to drag it all the way to about there, and you can see how good quality that is. If you zoom in, it's actually not that bad. So there we go. So we're going to do the same thing. So if you can see, once again, this image, even though it said it had a transparent background, but if you click onto it, you see how the box, it comes up as a square box around it, which means that it still has a border around. So we want to obviously trace and detach that border, because if you go click here and you want an offset on it, you see how the offset, and I'll show you the perfect example. If you want to do the offset as let's say green, you see how it comes up like that. So regardless of, fair enough if you don't want to have an offset around your image, then don't stress about this. But if you do want to have a border where you've got the dots so that you can, your lines, so you know, focus exactly where you need to cut it, then I would definitely recommend you doing a trace and cut. So let's just go back here, back, alright, and back again. Oh, and again, there we go. Okay, so we're going to go to over here, and it says trace window. Click, and we're going to trace the area. So we're going to drag and click all the way, and we make sure our whole image is completely covered. Now we're going to untick the high pass filter, and you see how you can still see certain areas that has not been colored in yellow. So we want to drag that all the way until it gets to, see, if I did 100, it's still a little bit jaggedy over here. See, like it's jaggedy. So if I take it off 100 and I make it more, no, I think that, yeah, about there should be fine. Okay, but it still hasn't taken all of these, but that doesn't really bother me. Oh, actually, maybe there we go. Actually, let's just take it to 100 and hit trace and detach, and there he is. I think his pants were actually jagged, so yeah, sorry. Alright, and then if you highlight over this, you can see that the box is still there. So we delete it, and let's just highlight again, make sure there's nothing popping up. Nope. And there he is. We're going to highlight him again, and we're going to go to the bottom here and hit offset, and we're going to highlight that, and we're going to change to 0. Now you can do this however you want to, but I like to do it at around between 50 and 80, and we're going to do it as 80. And there he is. So obviously the if you did it to say 100, it makes it bigger. Okay. So the more you make the distance, obviously the wider the offset's going to be. So in this case, we're just going to make it 80. Okay, and there he is there. Now, when you go and click here, you will see that the actual offset moves. So watch it. For some reason, I don't know why it does it, but how it does that, and it drives me crazy. So I just hit back, and it brings it back, but I'm still underneath my same area that I need to go. And then I'm going to do the offset in white, which once again, all that means is that if you take your image, see how now it's white? So if you wanted to change it to another color or whatever, okay, so that is the color. Bring him back in there, and if you can't figure out how to bring him into the center, you just highlight him, you go over here where it says align window, and you hit center. Okay, so once again, let's just click onto our offset. You're going to go into your line color window, hit done. No, okay, hang on. All right, so what I would do, and this is a good example. So for some reason too, when I hit your line, it outlined the actual image and also the offset. So if it does that, all you do is just take your image away, click onto that, change the color of your lines, and then we're going to do our dotted lines again. Change the thickness to 2, so when you print it out, it actually shows up. Pop him back in there. Highlight over him, go back to your alignment, center it, and then we're going to group it together so that it stays together. And there you go. Okay, now I believe that might be a little bit too big. Okay, so there he is. So all you would then do is go into your file. I would definitely save your images. So save and then go to library and make sure that you're under where you need it to be saved. I have a section here, and I would pop in here, Trolls, Branch, Centerpiece, and I would hit save. And if you look at the bottom here, this also changes. Okay, and then I would then go File, Print, and then you print your image out from there. All right, so you would do the exact same thing. So all you would do is go on top here to a new drawing. Make sure that your size is to the paper size you want, and you just keep going. So for instance, you want to do what are these girls called? Satin and Chanel, I think. Alright, so you in particular would have to see, so if you drag that right to the very edge, you would notice obviously that one part of it is out. So what in that case, what I would do is to right click. First of all, let's just, it's got the border around it. Let's just trace and get rid of the border. High pass filter off. Threshold, let's say to about 93. Trace and detach. Take you aside. There is the whole thing. Remove that because we don't want that. All right. So what I would do in this case, if you're wanting, say for instance, these girls, I would, and they don't fit on the page, I would right click, duplicate it, put the one to the side. I would get your knife. Now I believe if you don't have the designer edition, you can't use the curve one, I don't think. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what I would use. But in this case, we're just going to use the straight edge, and all I'm going to do is go from probably from, I would say, about here, and cut it off. Okay, and release, remove her, delete. Okay, so we want her. Now I would pop her on, and all I would do then is, now remember that pretty much from here was cut off. So you want a bit of an overhang. So in that case, I would do is click onto your knife again, make sure that it's straight, and then go a little bit above. So we cut it about there. I would go about here and cut. Once that's done, release it, take that part and delete. Okay, so if you still can't fit them on, which you probably couldn't, that's okay. You would then just do your offset on these. So right click, make sure that you remember what size you're going to do it at. So we're going to do it at 80, bring it back, we're going to fill it, we're going to do the lines in black, and we're going to make it dotted, and 2, and don't forget to highlight it again and group it. So you're done. Pop you in there. Let's do the exact same thing. You can just leave it as it is, and without the offset, and then just cut around it too. Don't feel that you have to. That you don't have to cut it. Now I've got a feeling I might have done that one a little bit bigger, the offset. Yes, I think I did. Yeah, so that was the offset there. Exactly the same thing, and then don't forget we're going to group it together so that it stays. And there we go. So when we cut it out, it's going to be cut out like, it's going to be cut out like that and like that, and then when you stick it together, you're going to stick that one on top of that one. In fact, if I was you, and then you would obviously cut that part out there, because that's where the offset is. We want to cut that off. Alright, and then you won't really see your joining lines, because you would, hopefully it would just all blend in. Okay, and then when you're doing your centerpiece, this one will be a bit different. So you would have 2 plaques for those. So you would pop in your dowel, your plaques, pop in your popsicle sticks over here and over here. You probably won't need, I would probably put in maybe 1 or 2 at the top here. You don't want to make it too top heavy, because it is quite a large one. Yeah, and then you just keep going. Alright, so that is Satin and Chanel. And we did Blanch. And then let's do Bridget. Okay, let's double click on her. There she is. Bring her all the way to there, and I think, even though it's saying that it's low resolution, it's still pretty good, I think. But once again, you can obviously buy your own clip art if you want to. Alright, so what do we do first? We are going to trace the image, because it will still have a box around it. High pass filter off all the way, and trace and detach. Remove what has been traced off, pop her back, offset, change the offset to 80. Remember to bring it back down, because sometimes it makes it big for some reason. And you don't have to do this part, remember. And there she is. Alright, don't forget we're going to highlight it and we're going to group it together. And let's just make it slightly smaller. That's all you need to do. And then print, cut, and then do your centerpiece. Alright guys, so I've shown you Princess Poppy brands, the Satin and Chanel, Bridget. I mean, I can keep going and going and going and going, but it's pretty simple how to do it. So yeah, so all the printables, so I will supply you most of the printables for free, but I thought I would show you how I actually make it. So like I said before, if there is a theme that you want to make your own centerpieces and you don't want to pay someone else, you just want to do it yourself, or yeah, you just want to give it a go yourself, whichever, this is how you would do it. It is so easy and so quick and so affordable too. I mean, all you're paying for pretty much is your ink and your paper and your time, of course. But how cool would it be to have your little boy or girl's birthday party with so many centerpieces and decorations and you made every single bit yourself? I think it's yeah, I think your child will be very happy with that. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed the second part of the video. It was a little bit longer than how I normally do my videos, but I thought it was important to show you guys how I actually make it so you guys can give it a go yourself if you wanted to. So yeah, give it a go and send me comments on how you're going. Please join my Facebook group that I've got. It's a private Facebook group. People are always asking questions and showing their decorations. Yeah, so I'll link that below too, so feel free to join that and away you go. Good luck guys. Thanks for tuning in. Take care. Bye.